happened in Okalao last week, and that people have seemed to take that and apply it to other situations where they will be, whereby folks thought that an Okalao by-election would not have any impact on the politics or the thoughts of the people moving forward. Perhaps the activities or the happenings over the weekend would then prove otherwise. We start with you, Dr. Owila, that whereby it was a by-election, which on the political calendar for many is inconsequential. But in this case, it was quite, because many an intrigue came out of this. And we then went into the weekend where in another part of the country, people were saying, well, if you don't come and give us, then you have no space to talk to us. So was the by-election in Okalao consequential to the country's politics moving forward?
I think, yeah, consequential in a number of fronts. First, we saw the influx of almost the who is who in the government go to Okalao campaign for the broad-based candidate. And I think the goodies that they took there sort of caught many Kenyans' attention. And that basically tells you that the premium is extremely high right now. That you won't go campaigning in any part of this world unless, especially if you're from the broad-based side of the government, unless you meet that threshold. You know, already people are demanding so much, and I think Okalao becomes the benchmark. That if this is what you're giving in Okalao, then you can't go below that, especially in areas that would be seen to be swing counties. Okalao wasn't. So I think for me, that's the first key thing, that the premium seems to be going high and higher, and the electorate will keep demanding much and much more from the political class. And then secondly, I think it is consequential in the sense that, all along we've had this conversation around the mountain is behind Rigathi Gachagua. And then there was the contrary conversation that President William Ruto didn't get the mountain vote because of Rigathi Gachagua. And I think the previous by-elections that we've seen in Mbeere North, in other parts of the country, have consistently shown that opposition has nothing on this regime, especially the broad-based. And I think it was just important for Rigathi Gachagua that he asserted himself. A number of political commentators are saying that he knew that he needed DCP to have the first win as a big win. And that's why he didn't go to Mbeere North, because Mbeere North was a DP candidate. That is who they fronted. And he thought that because Mbeere North is, well, this is the Mount Kenya thinking, but it is not predominantly Kikuyu. Yet, Okalao is pretty much homogeneously a Kikuyu constituency. So there's a sense in which he wanted to make a statement by winning big. And I think he did. I mean, 85% plus of the vote basically tells you that those who think that he doesn't have, the mountain vote behind him, especially the Kikuyu mountain vote behind him, are now thinking twice that, this guy actually has these numbers. Yeah. Now, in terms of that playing at the national level, I think it only benefits one person. It's only Rigathi Gachagua, because then it gives him an opportunity to assert himself. Probably, if he's not the candidate for the opposition, he's probably going to have a bigger say on who that candidate becomes, because he can now start asserting himself and saying, I told you that these numbers are with me. You saw 85% was with me, despite the government, descending into Okalao. So does that, help the opposition? I doubt. It does help Rigathi Gachagua. And I think the way he has come out to assert himself as this guy who has, walloped, the broad-based regime, sort of frames this conversation around President William Ruto against Rigathi Gachagua. And you see, there are a number of Kenyans who are looking at President William Ruto and thinking, this regime has not given us so much that they promised. So there's a sense in which there's a sizable number of Kenyans who are disgruntled with this regime, and they're thinking, is there an alternative? Now you direct them to Rigathi Gachagua, and I think the conversation shifts. They're like, this was a team that has done so much for this country that is not in the interest of so many Kenyans. So where is the shorter presidency that team is likely to go to? That thinking is likely to take people to President William Ruto, because you don't want to start a longer journey with Rigathi Gachagua. And simply put, If President William Ruto is not a favorite of many Kenyans, I think Rigiji emerging and framing himself as the alternative is even a bigger problem for the opposition. Whether he's the candidate or he supports someone, it essentially makes President William Ruto a better option.
I mean, Bosco,